Welcome to the state of Superior. I'm Mayor Mark Lacis. It is my distinct honor and privilege to serve as your mayor here in Superior. 2025 was a great year for Superior, and I am happy to report that the state of Superior is strong. We are 75% rebuilt from the Marshall Fire. We made major investments in our roadway infrastructure. Downtown is open for business. We passed a home rule charter and became a home rule municipality. We passed a sales tax ballot measure and secured bond funding to invest in our infrastructure and continued our litigation efforts against Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport. One of the noticeable changes of going home rule is that we are no longer a board of trustees here in Superior. We're a town council, and this is your town council. So on the bottom here is Jen Cowish, Stephanie Miller, and Neil Shah, with their terms expiring in November 2026. And on the top row, Jason Serbu, Heather Craycraft, Mike Foster. They have terms expiring in November 2028, and then I'm up in November 2026. So a year from now, we'll have an election for 3 council members and a mayor position. I'm going to give a brief overview of tonight. We're first going to talk about our council priorities for 2025 and how we did. Then I'll run through the Marshall Fire recovery and our emergency preparedness efforts. Then talk about our town's finances, our public works and utilities departments, Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport, our economic development efforts, our parks, rec, and open space, environmental sustainability in town, planning and building, communications, and then looking forward to 2026, what our priorities will be. So with our 2025 priorities, what I do is I just look at the State of Superior presentation from last year. What were my priorities for 2025? And that's what this slide is that you're going to see before you. So there's 4 main priorities that we had for 2025, and they are infrastructure, Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport litigation, economic development, and Marshall Fire recovery. And if you can see the presentation, and this presentation will be available after this live event. It'll be available for download, and we'll also be streaming this on YouTube. Many of the infrastructure investments were contingent upon the sales tax ballot measure that was before the voters in November. So it passed, and what we had identified for our infrastructure priorities in 2025 was the Rock Creek Parkway and McCaslin intersection improvements, reconstructing Rock Creek Parkway from Indiana to 88th Street with a roundabout or a traffic light at Coal Creek Drive. That didn't happen. Reconstructing the North Pole, that also didn't happen yet. And then developing a plan for the South Pole. Then our Rocky Mountain Metropolitan litigation is currently in a state of an appeal, so we're moving forward on that. On economic development, we broke ground on blocks 2 here in downtown Superior, and that is the block 8. That's the Alta Flatirons development that you all see on the corner of Main Street and McCaslin Boulevard. Bigsby's Folly, and then securing additional Main Street leases. And then, of course, recovering from the Marshall Fire. So first I want to talk about the Marshall Fire and our emergency preparedness efforts. So as you all know, we lost about 400 homes here in Superior in the Marshall Fire. About 1,100 homes and businesses were destroyed in Superior, Louisville, and Boulder County. We're currently about 75% rebuilt, with another 10% in some state of rebuild, permitting, or they have their permits pending, and also we acquired some of the parcels for open space. So when you factor in total rebuilds and those that are under construction, we're about 85% there, and then there's another 15% of homes that were destroyed that are not yet permitted. We've issued 296 certificates of occupancy, which is always a wonderful thing to see people come back home. One of the first things that the town board did in recovering from the Marshall Fire was we wanted to make it as economical as possible for people to recover from the fire. We knew that a lot of people were going to be absolutely devastated financially, underinsured. So we passed a use tax and building permit rebate. And to date, we've rebated $3.2 million to fire victims to assist them with their recovery efforts. That, on average, amounts to somewhere between $10,000 to $15,000 of actual dollars in their pocket that they didn't have to spend to help them move back home. That deadline for the Marshall Fire rebates has been extended, so it is out there until December 31st of 2026. So we want to make sure that everybody who was impacted by the fire can avail themselves of those use tax rebates and building permit rebates. And then following Superior's lead, Louisville followed suit. So did the state in enacting also use tax rebates to help fire victims recover from natural disasters like the Marshall Fire. Our infrastructure was also hit. In addition to losing 400 homes and businesses, there was a massive amount of infrastructure that was lost. We have, to date, received nearly $6 million of rebates of reimbursements from FEMA, which is fantastic news. As a point of comparison, back in 2013, when the floods hit Superior, it took us about 10 years to get fully reimbursed from FEMA, and we're at 90% of the total amounts outstanding. So FEMA has been a really great partner, and our emergency preparedness team here with our town staff has just done a remarkable job staying on top of FEMA, doing everything that they can to secure that reimbursement. And those reimbursement projects have included the public property private property debris removal program, our granular activated carbon filtration system that was installed at the water treatment plant to impact our water, the fire hydrants that were impacted, our asphalt and concrete and irrigation projects that were impacted, Founders Park, Children's Park, all the parks that were destroyed in the Marshall Fire have also been rebuilt and partially funded by FEMA to help us along with that. We completed asphalt projects and irrigation projects as well, so we're moving right along in the fire recovery. Also newsworthy is the Marshall Fire litigation just recently settled. The town, along with other governments, was a party to that litigation, so that's a massive piece of litigation that was set to go to trial in October that just recently settled. And that was a case that involved private parties that were suing Excel, insurance carriers that were suing and asserting their subrogation claims, and then the local governments like Louisville, Boulder Valley School District, ourselves, that were impacted and not reimbursed by FEMA or insurance. So that case settled. It was a $640 million settlement. The details are still to be worked out, but it is covering some of the town's unbudgeted for, unreimbursed, out-of-pocket expenses that we suffered as a result of the Marshall Fire. We're continuing our efforts to learn from the Marshall Fire and make sure that we're more resilient and prepared for the next disaster. So we're taking steps to mitigate the risk of wildfire in our climate. And we've secured nearly $4 million of grants to help with our fire mitigation efforts. The picture you see here is a volunteer effort. It was a group known as Team Rubicon, and they came and they removed dead and burned trees along Coal Creek to mitigate fire loads and fuel loads in the Coal Creek area. Our goat grazing efforts continue to be a huge hit. They just came back to Superior. If you notice, they're over by El Dorado K through 8 and the Castle Peak open space. They just moved in today. And we are continuing to xeriscape and install Firewise landscaping. We've engaged experts to help with vegetative fuel load reduction efforts, as well as facility hardening. And we have also been collecting a load of data to study the grazing efforts, the goat grazing efforts, reseeding, mowing efforts, to study really where the best bang for our buck is with fire mitigation to make sure that we are prepared as we can be for any eventual disaster that may come in the future. Our emergency preparedness team has installed new outdoor warning sirens that you probably heard this summer. We have responded to various storm events throughout town, hosted a number of training and educational programs for both staff and the public, and have been partnering with the Wildfire Community Home Assessment Program to avail ourselves and residents of various rebate programs for people to install Firewise landscaping and things like that. Now I'm going to turn to our town's finances. So I always like to start with our town's debt load because it's really important for our town. Our town council takes it very seriously to make sure that our town is managed in a fiscally responsible way. And this slide shows a 20-year snapshot of our debt burden from 2010 going into 2030. And you'll see on the left, that's 2010, our debt load was just under $70 million. In 2007, we topped out at $71 million of total debt. Currently, we're at $33 million of debt, so you can see that our debt has declined substantially and then has increased a little bit between 2019 and 2020, which was when the town acquired the Coyote Ridge open space and the community center. And then it has decreased again and then increased between 24 and 25, which is when the voters passed a sales tax ballot measure, which enabled us to get $17 million of debt financing to fund our parks, pools, and roads. In 2025, we were currently at $33.1 million of debt. At the end of the year in 2026, we'll be at $31.6 million. And we will be making, in 2025, a total of just under $8 million of debt principal payments. And we're fully retiring one debt obligation, which is our Superior Metropolitan District number 1 debt obligation, which is our water and sewer lines under the Rock Creek neighborhood that has been a huge debt burden that the town has been shouldering for several decades now. As I mentioned before, we issued a new debt issuance for our capital improvement program as a result of the sales tax. And then in 2026, we will be retiring another open space debt obligation that was taken out in 2015. And then thereafter, we'll focus on paying back the Coyote Ridge debt. This is our budget for 2026. And you'll see that we have 4 entities that we control in Superior. The town of Superior has a budget. The Superior Urban Renewal Authority has a budget. The Superior McCaslin Interchange District has a budget. That's the diverging diamond. And then the Superior Metropolitan District number 1, which is our town utilities. So the town's budget is just over $50 million. The Superior McCaslin Interchange District has a $2 million budget. The Urban Renewal Authority has a $7.4 million budget, which is basically a pass-through for tax increment financing to reimburse the developer for the infrastructure improvements in downtown Superior. And then Superior Metropolitan District, our utilities are just under $16 million. So our total budget is $76.2 million for 2026. Property taxes are staying the same. So the mills that are being assessed here in Superior are staying at 12.127. And the majority of your property tax that you pay here on a typical home in Superior goes to Boulder Valley School District, Boulder County, and our local fire district. So actually 85% of your property tax goes to the county, goes to the school district, and goes to the fire district. Only about 12% of your property taxes actually go to the town. Another 1.5% goes to Louisville to fund our library contract that we have with Louisville Library. Sales tax, similarly, is staying the same. Total sales tax will be 8.96% here in Superior, but 60% of that sales tax goes to the state of Colorado, goes to RTD, and goes to Boulder County. Only about roughly 42% goes to the town of Superior. So our sales tax load is actually 3.78%, which is 42% of the total sales tax collected in Superior, also staying the same for 2026. As I mentioned earlier, in 2024, the voters approved a sales tax ballot measure where the town asked voters to approve a 0.315% sales tax increase, which is 31 cents on a $100 purchase, to fund various capital improvement projects like our parks, our pools, our roads that had over $35 million worth of unbudgeted for estimated expenses that we just didn't have the budget for. So we wanted to jumpstart an investment in that infrastructure, and fortunately the voters of Superior agreed with that decision and authorized the sales tax ballot measure, which then enabled us to go to the debt markets this summer, where we secured $17 million of debt. That sales tax runs through 2050, and then we'll be retired. So what are we using that money for? North Pool, South Pool, Community Park Playground, Rock Creek Parkway, Indiana Street. And I'll talk about these projects in more detail later. About 2 years ago, we hired a grant administrator in town who has been very successful seeking out all the available grant funding opportunities so our taxpayers aren't shouldering all the burden of funding all the things that we do here in town. And she's been very successful. So we've achieved $2.5 million of hazard mitigation funding from FEMA, which has helped us with fire mitigation efforts and reconstruction from the Marshall Fire. We had $1.25 million awarded from the Economic Development Administration, which is going to help fund the Marshall-McCaslin intersection project in 2026. We had $1.5 million from the Colorado Energy Office for a regional e-bike share program, $500,000 from CDOT for a Hawk pedestrian crossing on McCaslin. That'll also be something that we're working on next year. And then Boulder County gave us a grant of $150,000 for fuel mitigation. Turning to our Public Works and Utilities departments. 2025 road projects. We did a lot of road projects in 2025, and we've got more on the schedule for 2026. But this is an overview of what we did in 2025. And I apologize that that's really hard to say, but in blue, we did a mill and overlay and repaved all the roads in Sagamore, 76th Street, and Sycamore. In black, you can see here, we reconstructed the intersection of McCaslin and Rock Creek Parkway, as well as the bridge. In blue down here, we did a mill and overlay of Colton Road between Rock Creek Parkway and Summit Boulevard. And then in orange, we did Reclamite street sealing through the western portion of Rock Creek, west of Indiana, south of Rock Creek Parkway. So they were busy. We installed a pedestrian bridge over Coal Creek in Original Town, which is pictured there on the top right. We completed the Rock Creek Parkway underpass improvements and installed a beautiful new mural. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out over by Purple Park. It's absolutely stunning. We fully mill and overlaid, repaved Colton Road in connection with the city and county of Broomfield. So for those of you who don't know, Colton Road is the basically boundary between the town of Superior and Broomfield, and actually runs down the middle of it. So we own one side of the street and Broomfield owns the other side of the street. I didn't make that decision, but that's how it is. So we worked with them to make sure that we could repave all the way from the mall to Rock Creek Parkway. And that road, I don't know if any of you remember it, it was in dire need of repaving. It was bumpy and a lot of heaving, so that was a great project to get done. We repaved all the roads that were impacted from the Marshall Fire in the Sagamore neighborhood, so that's brand spanking new. Rock Creek Parkway, McCaslin intersection improvements were completed. We did the street sealing throughout Rock Creek. We did concrete repairs, curbs, and sidewalks, and then also did some Original Town alley work. This is a map of 5 years of roadway projects in Superior. Also going to be a little hard to see, but I'll try to run through it here for you. Starting during the pandemic, remember the pandemic? When we all stayed at home and nobody left their house? So we used that opportunity to redo 88th Street from Rock Creek Parkway to the bridge. nobody was going to school. It was an opportunity to fully close that road without too much inconvenience. So we reconstructed 88th Street in 2010. Then in 2021, we did McCaslin from 128th to Colton Road. In 2022, we built Promenade, which connects downtown Superior to 88th Street. In 2023, we did McCaslin from Colton Road to Rock Creek Parkway. And then in 2024, we did Rock Creek Parkway down to Indiana Street, as well as started reclamite street sealing in the eastern portion of Rock Creek, which we continued in 25 on the western portion. And then we did in 2025 the intersection of Rock Creek Parkway and McCaslin, and then the Sagamore neighborhood and Colton. So there's been a lot of roadway investments over the past several years, which has been a focus of the town board and now the town council to invest. Yeah. On the water and sewer side of things, we've been continuing to fund our contribution to the Windy Gap Firming Project, which is the massive reservoir that is being constructed up in Loveland, which is going to secure our drinking water for the future. It's a $750 million project. Superior's contribution to that project is $38 million. We're roughly making $1.5 million of payments on an annual basis to secure those water rights for the future. We installed a new water transmission main in connection with the McCaslin intersection improvements that were completed this summer. So you've probably seen them doing some landscaping and seeding on the western side of McCaslin over just the past few weeks. But there's a new 16-inch water main that runs from our water treatment plant that provides water now to downtown and to the north part of Superior. That was all developer funded by the developer in downtown Superior. We cleaned our granular activated carbon filtration system, which was the system that was installed after the Marshall Fire to address the smoky and ashy tasting water that many of us were seeing after the Marshall Fire for several months. So that's basically like the world's biggest Brita pitcher up at the water treatment plant. So periodically, you got to change your filter. We got to clean the filtration media. At the wastewater treatment plant, none of these are particularly sexy projects, but they are very important for our community, and they're extremely expensive. They're always like shockingly expensive how much these wastewater treatment plant projects cost, and most of the time there are things that we have to do because of the state or the federal government mandating us to do it without providing us a budget for it. So we have to do those projects. So we did an equalization pond sludge removal program. We did some anaerobic zone tanks that were constructed. We also replaced the pumps and controls at our waste activated sludge system. So a lot of effort at the wastewater treatment plant. You can take my word for it, but we do give tours if you want to see for yourself. In 2026, we're going to be very busy with road projects. So the big one is Rock Creek Parkway reconstruction from Indiana to Colton. So I mentioned earlier that one of the goals for 2025 was reconstructing Rock Creek Parkway from Indiana to 88th Street. We had plans to do that. We had structural engineers, surveyors out there, found out that the soils and the state of the road, which we thought we could maybe get away with a $2.5 million project, is actually not going to work. So it's going to be more like a $4 million project and a full reconstruction of the road. And given kind of the state of the project and timing, the town council elected to delay that project until 2026. What we're going to do now is couple that project from Indiana down to 88th Street with the reconstruction of Rock Creek Parkway all the way down to Colton, so from Honey Creek down to Colton as well. We're also going to be reconstructing Indiana Street from North Torrey's Peak to McCaslin on the south side of town, doing a mill and overlay of Honey Creek Lane by the wastewater treatment plant. We'll be making improvements to the intersection of Marshall Road and McCaslin, so there's adding an additional turn lane there, and that's partially grant funded. We'll be installing a Hawk pedestrian crossing on McCaslin Boulevard by the Vista Corridor open space. We'll be doing some work on alleys and Fifth Avenue in Original Town, as well as additional street sealing throughout Rock Creek. So here's a map of the projects. You can see it in black. We've got the Marshall and McCaslin intersection improvements there. Rock Creek Parkway from Indiana Street to 88th with a roundabout at Coal Creek Drive. And then Rock Creek Parkway from Honey Creek Lane down to Colton will be reconstructed. Indiana Street from North Torrey's Peak down to McCaslin will be reconstructed. We'll be doing some sealing on Rock Creek Circle, and then a mill and overlay of Honey Creek Lane. On the water and sewer side of things, we'll be replacing the cover and doing tank maintenance at a reuse water facility. So one of the things that our wastewater treatment plant does is we process all that water and then pump it into our reuse system so we can water all of the parks in Superior. Water is a precious commodity here in the dry Mountain West, so we want to make sure that we're preserving all of that water to the best extent possible. So we use our reuse facility to handle that. We'll be installing smart water meters at the water treatment plant. We'll be replacing a pond liner and installing a sludge removal pumping station and replacing the filter media for the granular activated carbon filtration system. At the wastewater treatment plant, we'll be installing an additional turbo blower for the aeration system, replacing our activated sludge and water treatment pumps. We're building a new building down at the water treatment plant as well, the wastewater treatment plant. That's a parks and public works operations and maintenance facility. So this is something that the town council has approved, and it is starting construction shortly, and that'll be completed in 2026. The facilities that our staff, we have an amazing staff here in Superior, and I'm frankly embarrassed at the condition of the facilities that some of them have had to work in. So we've finally taken the steps necessary to provide them with an adequate facility. One of them didn't even have a bathroom or heat in it, and it was just we're expecting our employees to work in these conditions. So we're investing in that to actually have a decent facility for them to work in. So I'm happy to see that program come to fruition. And then we'll also be doing some maintenance at our storm water drainage reservoir and ponds. Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport, everybody's favorite subject. There is probably nothing that I hear more about from residents than Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport. It is the single most annoying issue in people's lives. It's affecting their quality of lives. People are woken up in the middle of the night, they can't go to sleep, they can't work because of the noise pollution in our community. As many of you know, we're in the middle of litigation that we filed back in March of 2024, and in connection with that, we have installed noise monitoring stations around town. We didn't want to just have anecdotal statements about the impacts that are happening. We wanted to have quantifiable data that is actually measured. We are publishing that data on a monthly basis, so you can visit superiorcolorado.gov/RMMA and view the monthly summaries of our noise reports. This is a representative example of the noise that we've monitored at various noise monitoring stations in town over the entire year in 2024. And you can see in blue, that's total operations. So you can see that it kind of spikes up in the summer and then decreases. And in red are the touch and go activities that everybody complains about. So you can see from this graph, about more than half of the operations at Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport that we're measuring are touch and go activities. And that's what's responsible for all the noise complaints that we're seeing here in town. Over the summer, the FAA published a memorandum that many of you have probably seen, and it was really shocking when this came out, where the FAA concluded that Rocky Metropolitan Airport currently leads the national airspace in the number of potentially significant events, which includes both runway incursions and airborne safety incidents. So Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport, by the FAA's own admission, is the most dangerous airport in the country. So in light of that conclusion, and this was a document that was obtained as a result of a resident who made a FOIA request, which then it came out. So it wasn't something that was voluntarily just disclosed. It had to be found. So the FAA has made flight path changes. A lot of people have been impacted by those flight path changes. The airport and the touch and go activity has historically been a South Superior facing event, and now as a result of the FAA's flight path changes, residents in North Superior, in Louisville, in Lafayette, in Boulder County have all been impacted by those flight path changes as well. This is another email that came out as a result of that FOIA request, which shows kind of internal correspondence amongst the FAA, where they said, for background, the air traffic manager has been receiving a number of noise complaints over the past year, and the airport general manager has directed Nathan not to engage with the airport or the community regarding noise issues. So our efforts to address these noise issues is complicated by the lack of cooperation from the airport. Nevertheless, if you're impacted by the airport, I encourage you to submit noise complaints. There is a phone number. There is an online complaint form. If there are illegal or unsafe activities by planes, that should be reported to the FAA at the Flight Standards District Office, and all of these links here are available in the presentation, which will be made available for the public afterwards. But ultimately, Jefferson County owns the airport. They control, they hire the airport director. Board of County Commissioners meets on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. in Golden at 100 Jefferson County Parkway, hybrid and in person. I encourage you to attend those meetings. Let the Jefferson County Commissioners know what the impacts that you're facing from the airport, what they are. Jefferson County Commissioners Rachel Zenzinger, Andy Kerr, and Leslie Dahlkemper, they have emails, and their email addresses are on this presentation. I encourage you to reach out to them. Let them know what you're facing from the noise pollution caused from the airport. The airport director is Eric Dahl. His email address is edahl@flyrmma.com. And the airport is in the process of doing a Part 150 noise study. That is a study where they are soliciting community feedback, and you can send feedback to be included in the Part 150 noise study at feedback@flyrmma.com. As I mentioned earlier, we are in litigation related to the airport. We filed a public nuisance lawsuit with Boulder County back in March of 2024. The balance of 2024 was spent with a bunch of procedural wrangling as to what was going to be the proper forum for the lawsuit, whether it was going to be in state court, whether it was going to be in federal court. We were up in federal court, and now we're back down in state court. We originally filed in state court. So that was a little bit of a delay in 2024, but in March of 2025, the trial court judge dismissed our case on federal preemption grounds and essentially argued that the state court didn't have any jurisdiction over airport issues because of federal preemption issues. We disagree, so we're taking an appeal. We filed our appellate brief in September and actually filed our reply brief today. So that appeal is fully briefed now, and we're waiting on the Colorado Court of Appeals to either order oral argument or issue its decision. So we'll expect that in the next couple months. All right, on to brighter topics. Economic development. We had a lot of businesses open up in town in 2025. In downtown, Bear Hair Removal, the Raw Pet Company, Inanna Creations, Studio Pilates, Menchie's Frozen Yogurt, Paul's Coffee, and Ken Shui Interior Design all opened their doors here in downtown Superior. At the Discovery Office Park, InBank opened up as well. In the Superior Marketplace, Barnes & Noble opened up their new store, Arts Off Center, Waxing the City, Trail Fine Jewelry, and Twisted Stitches all opened up their doors. And in the Rock Creek Village Shopping Center, Cedar and Sage Day Spa opened up their doors. We are at our all-time lowest vacancy rate in the Superior Marketplace and in Rock Creek Village, which is just a fantastic sign for our community, just a testament to the fact that people feel hopeful about this economy here in Superior, the community here, that we're supportive of local businesses and that they want to open up their doors. In partnership with the Superior Chamber of Commerce, many of whom are here today, we will have ribbon cuttings with the Chamber and welcome all these new businesses. So this is just a snapshot of some of the ribbon cuttings we did in 2025, and many thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting these ribbon cuttings. This is just a really special opportunity to meet the entrepreneurs who are opening up these businesses, introduce them to the town council, to members of the Chamber of Commerce, to have a venue with them where we can talk about issues that they may be facing and make sure that they get the support that they need so they can flourish as a new business in town. But we're not done, and coming soon in 2026, we're eagerly anticipating in downtown Superior, Bigsby's Folly Craft Winery and Restaurant, BB.Q Chicken, Hyatt Studios Hotel, which is currently under construction that way in the dark, and a food hall, which would be located just outside the plaza right here, which would be a really exciting development. So it would be a food hall and a pizzeria right off the plaza here in downtown Superior. In the Superior Marketplace, Lindora Weight Loss and Wellness and High Point Chiropractic will be opening up their doors. So frequently I hear people talk about downtown Superior, and they say, when is downtown Superior coming online, and when are the businesses actually going to be open in downtown Superior? So I wanted to just show this slide here. This is a slide that I believe the Chamber put out that shows all the businesses in downtown Superior. So at the Blue Sports Stable, we've got the Blue Sports Stable itself, Floyd's 99 Barbershop, Helios Laser Therapy, Impact Sports, Litter Riders and Impact Kids, Paul's Coffee and Tea, and the Stable Bar and Grill. Amazing businesses in and of themselves at the Sports Stable. And then at the medical office building next door, we've got the Boulder Community Hospital, Northwest Family Medicine Group, Brandon Center for Dentistry, Cornerstone Orthopedics, Intermountain Health, Touchstone Imaging, and United Urology. On Main Street, Bear Hair Removal, Boulder Baked, Colorado Carbon Bicycles, Halcyon Mind and Body, Inanna Creations, Ken Shui Interior Design, Crack Boba, Menchie's Frozen Yogurt, Studio Pilates, and the Raw Pet Company. And then also, as part of downtown, is the Tesla dealership that's at the corner of Marshall and McCaslin. One of the efforts of the town council this year has been prioritizing economic development, and as part and parcel of those efforts, we want to activate Main Street. We've wanted to make sure that people know about the businesses that are here in downtown and experiencing them, and just get down and just see what all the fun and excitement is all about. So in connection with that, we hosted 6 summer concerts in the Superior Commons Park, as well as along here in the plaza on Main Street, where there was live music, food, drinks, family fun, and that ran from June to August. We hosted our first summer market, which was a huge success. It was a monthly summer market where we had 40 plus vendors, live music, and thousands of shoppers, and that was a monthly event held on the evenings on Wednesdays during May through October. And then we had the Winter Festival, which was sponsored by the Superior Chamber of Commerce, which had reindeer, Santa, the Grinch, shopping, music, performances, tree lighting, skating, and we're eagerly anticipating the Winterfest coming back this year as well. So really, really great uses of the downtown space to get people down here. All right, now turning to our Parks, Recreation, and Open Space departments. So we may be only 4 square miles here in Superior, but we are mighty. 23 parks, 17 playgrounds, 30 miles of trails, just in our 4 square miles of Superior. And that doesn't even count the open space to our west. 4 tennis courts, 6 pickleball courts, 2 outdoor pools. We have 61 plus acres of open space per 1,000 residents, and over 14 acres of parks per 1,000 residents, which is truly remarkable. I dare you to find a community that has more. You won't find it. But we're not resting on our laurels, and we're continuing to deliver new amenities. Central Park is under construction here in downtown Superior. When that's completed, we'll have a dog park, which is already built, a half-court basketball court, pathways, shade structures, just another beautiful park here in downtown. We renovated our disc golf course at Autry Park. We installed a scoreboard here at Superior Commons Athletic Field, and we've got a field lining robot, which is pretty cool. We opened up this beautiful new space. So you're in the downtown civic space, the Superior Civic Space. This was a contribution from the developer from back in 2013 when the original plan for downtown Superior was approved. They needed to deliver, as part of that development, certain amounts of civic space. And so this was what the developer built for us. So it's a wonderful new facility. I'm excited to see it get used. It's available for rentals, for events. So if you've got a nonprofit, some sort of event, you need a nice venue. It's got a great stage, AV system, the whole works. We also took ownership of the plaza and the water splash fountain out in the plaza there. And then we've been programming this room. So we had a great event just about 2 months ago, where we had the Boulder Ballet and the Boulder Philharmonic hosted an event here, which was just an amazing type of event that you wouldn't usually think of in a 4 square mile suburb like Superior to have, but we did it. It was amazing. We've got a new adult softball league, 100 participants. It was a 10-week-long program with 6 teams. It was a co-ed rec league. Great fun, huge success. They played over at Stewart Field and Community Park. The Superior Community Center continues to be an incredible amenity for our community. We had over 55,000 attendees at the community center. 2,000 of those were youth access pass check-ins. We had 1,700 senior drop-ins and 1,200 facility reservations. We've got game nights there, socials. Chat with the Chief is held, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, every month, which is a huge, just awesome opportunity to meet with law enforcement, talk to Sergeant Solomon about issues in the community for public safety. We have veterans meetups, the Taste of Nepal, and our holiday bazaar. We host open mic nights, a community choir. We've got early childhood offerings as well. I can't really remember what life was like before we had the Superior Community Center. You know, it is used so much. It has become such like an integral part of like the fabric of our community that, you know, I can't imagine what life was like before, but we've only had it for about 5 years. And I remember when we first brought it online, we thought to ourselves, is anybody going to come here? Well, 55,000 people are coming every year, so it's a great success. Our senior programming continues to be a popular destination for seniors in our community. We've more than doubled the attendance of our senior breakfasts, which has been wonderful. We launched a Healthy Senior Lecture Series in conjunction with Advent Health. We are hosting yoga, photography club and classes, bingo size, and if you're a poker player, the poker on Friday afternoons is a huge hit. You should go play poker. They look like they're always having a good time. They won't let me sit with them yet. Our teen events are also on the other side of the age spectrum, a huge hit as well. We're continuing to host teen nights at Superior Community Center. We had over 300 registrants for those teen nights, and then we're continuing to host events like Flick and Float at the North Pool. Speaking of our pools, 22,000 visits to the North and South Pool in 2025. We hosted our first cardboard regatta boat race at the North Pool, which was a sight to behold. Family swim nights at the South Pool, Flick and Float events, and then, of course, the end of summer dog days event when the pools are turned over to our furry friends who get to have their way with the pool for a couple hours. And then, of course, the North Pool continues to be the home of our very own Rock Creek Flyers Swim Club. Go Flyers. We had more than 40 events in Superior this past year. Arbor Day, our 4th of July race, parade, festival, and barbecue, our summer concert series, the grand opening of our civic space, the summer markets, Chilean Beer Fest, Bike to Work Day, Bike to School Day, National Trails Day, Migratory Bird Day, our volunteer appreciation events, the Taste of Nepal, the Superior Sister City Bazaar, National Night Out, Monster Mash, Saturday night socials at the community center, civic space, entertainment nights, active adult casino nights, our stocking run, and then Winterfest. So there's never a dull moment here in town if you're looking for an event. We couldn't do it, though, without the help of our advisory committee, so special thanks to our Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, PARC, our Open Space Advisory Committee, OSAC, the Cultural Arts and Public Spaces Advisory Committee, CAPS, the Historical Commission, our Superior Youth Leadership Council, our ACES Committee, the Advisory Committee for Environmental Sustainability, and our Planning Commission. We made a number of enhancements to our parks and open space as well. We planted nearly 150 trees this year. We piloted a xeriscape demonstration garden. So if you haven't seen this, this is located over on Founders Park on Coal Creek Drive, which is something that was funded by Research Central, a grant from them, just to show how a xeriscaping garden could work in our climate and not be reliant on a lot of water. We continued our wildfire mitigation efforts. We're working on trailhead parking and trail construction at Coyote Ridge Open Space, which is starting in November. Our Youth Steward program continues to provide trail maintenance, weeding, and other maintenance in our open space areas. We adopted an open space management plan and updated our irrigation clocks for enhanced sustainability efforts. This is Coyote Ridge. This is our largest parcel of open space, which we acquired back in 2019. And this is a 182-acre parcel, which represented the largest open space acquisition in our town's history. We adopted a master plan for the Coyote Ridge open space this past year and acquired property that was owned by CDOT on Highway 128, which is going to allow us to have a parking lot and a trailhead at the Coyote Ridge open space, so it'll actually be something that is accessible to the public. We're working on the parking lot and trail upgrades starting in November, and that's going to be something that the construction will continue into 2026. So that's going to be a wonderful new amenity for those who are interested in getting out, enjoying the outdoors, and enjoying the Coyote Ridge open space. Another hot button topic that came up in town this year that I just wanted to touch on briefly was the Town 15. There was an open space application that ended up getting denied by the town board, so I just wanted to cover what the facts are about the Town 15. So this is a parcel of land located at the corner of McCaslin Boulevard and Colton Road. It's a 15-acre parcel right there that's highlighted in red. It is currently zoned under the Rock Creek PD as Community Activity Center, which is a commercial use zoning designation, which is intended to function as some sort of community service, social, cultural focal point for the community. Residential is not permitted on Town 15 under its current zoning, and there are no plans to develop the Town 15 parcel at this point in time. Arts and history continues to be a priority of the Town Council and our advisory committees. We hosted several resident art exhibits, both from residents as well as students from Superior Elementary and El Dorado K-8 at the Superior Community Center. Our Cultural Arts and Public Spaces team hosted the Superior Pairings event that I referred to earlier with the Boulder Philharmonic and the Boulder Ballet here at the Civic Space. They also helped install the mural that is located, that's what it looks like there, the foxes there on the bottom. That's the mural under Rock Creek Parkway by Purple Park. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. As well as hosting several free art workshops. Our Historical Commission continues to host second graders to Town Hall and to the jail and to the Miners Museum, as well as hosting visitors at our museum. And they're working on our Miner Memorial as well. In 2025, We saw the developer in downtown Superior lead the construction on Central Park here in downtown Superior. We accepted the town council a design for the community park renovations, for the playground renovations. We adopted a design for the North Pool and started work on the South Pool renovation as well. We're going to be doing some renovations at the community center, so we approved some design engineering for structural and drainage improvements at the community center, as well as the reception desk area redesign, the Coyote Ridge Trailhead and Trail, as well as the Parks and Rec and Public Works Operations and Maintenance building that is currently under construction. In 2026, a lot of that design engineering is actually going to come to construction. So we're going to see a lot of work in town. Thanks to the voters who approved the sales tax ballot measure, this is putting your tax dollars to work. Community park playground construction will be happening in the spring. Our North and South Pool renovations are scheduled for the off season for next year. So once the pools close down this summer, we're going to start work on those renovations. We're going to do the community center structural and drainage work and the reception desk as well, and then the Coyote Ridge Trailhead construction. And then also the O&M building will continue to be constructed in 2026. That's a rendering. What did I do? There we go. That's a rendering of an overview of what Community Park looks like from the sky. And this is a close-up of some of the new playground equipment that's going to go at Community Park. So it's going to be really spectacular. I know a lot of people were really excited when they saw the new playground equipment that we installed about a year or two at Purple Park. This is going to be kind of similar. It's going to be a really amazing destination for kids of all ages, even parents. This is the North Pool design. You'll see we have, we're keeping the same configuration of the pool, but we're redoing the baby pool. There'll be a new zero entry wading pool, an expanded patio, new filtration system, new pool shell and deck. We're adding shade structures. And then we're moving the mechanical out of the bathhouse, constructing a new pool mechanical building, and then completely gutting and redoing the bathhouse at the North Pool. The bathhouse will have a family changing room, which will be accessible off by the baby wading pool. The women's locker room will be expanded. We're adding a lifeguard and first aid station. Right now, all our lifeguards who are working at the North Pool, when it's raining and thundering, they have no place to take shelter. They take shelter in the patio area. So we're going to give them an actual office where they can be warm and have all the things that they should have that they currently don't have. And then we're also adding an all-season restroom to the North Pool bathhouse as well. So when the bathhouse closes down for the season, we'll still have an accessible year-round bathroom that is accessible for tennis players or anybody who needs to use the facilities there, which is a nice upgrade as well. All right, now I want to talk about our environmental sustainability efforts. So we hired an environmental sustainability manager a couple years ago, and in 2021, the town board at that time adopted our sustainability action plan. Sustainability is something that is part and parcel of why we're doing the work that we're doing. We know that the residents of Superior care about the environment, want us to be environmentally focused and sustainable, and we're making some serious progress in that regard. That's a picture of our new electric trash trucks. We've got a contract that services the people in downtown Superior, in Original Town, in Sagamore, Coal Creek Crossing. If you live there, you're already getting serviced by an electric trash truck. That project has also rolled out composting in Superior, which is another big improvement over the previous contract, which helps us meet our waste diversion goals and our sustainability efforts. We've been offering new rebates through Energy Smart for electric appliances and efficiency upgrades. We also partnered with the Chamber on a Green Business Award awarded to Tequila and Mezcal for their sustainability efforts. And we're piloting with Resource Central to provide irrigation controllers to residents, smart irrigation controllers to residents, as well as hosting educational events like our compost and container gardening workshop events. In 2026, we're completing a roadmap for water conservation, xeriscaping, and an evaluation of our non-essential turf in town. So we've got a lot of grass in town that is currently needing to be watered that might not necessarily need to be everywhere that it is. So we're evaluating if there are places where we can remove it, like in the medians of roads, where the roads are destroyed because of all the excess water that flows onto the roads. So we're evaluating where turf can be removed and water can be conserved. We're continuing with our decarbonization, town facility decarbonization planning efforts, and we're also working on leveraging the new state extended producer responsibility to residents. That's a new plan where the state has, if you haven't heard of it, it's essentially where the state has passed a law that requires producers that are creating products that are using plastics and cardboard and all of the things that end up in landfills. And they're holding those producers responsible for some of the costs associated with all of that waste. And there will be ways for the town and residents to take advantage of savings by virtue of those extended producer credits that we're looking into and we're looking to leverage in 2026 and beyond. And we're going to continue implementing our sustainability action plan. If you're interested in sustainability, we've got a great website at sustainability.superiorcolorado.gov where we're tracking our efforts to reach our sustainability goals over time. Planning and building. In 2025, we saw the groundbreaking on Block 8 of the Alta Flatirons project. That's what everybody drove by here in downtown Superior. That is a large mixed-use project that I'll be highlighting in a future slide. We also broke ground on the downtown Superior Hyatt Studios Hotel, which is currently under construction here in downtown. We approved a final development plan for Kite Route Crossing, which is our first affordable housing project for seniors. So that's a 55-plus senior affordable housing community that will be built here in downtown Superior. We rezoned a block in Original Town from light industrial to low-density residential. We approved an annexation into the town of additional land that was previously in Boulder County and approved a planned development for Guardian Storage to expand their operation on the northwest corner of town, and made various land use code amendments as well, allowing accessory dwelling units, occupancy, and parking updates. This is the Alta Flatirons project. It's a mixed-use building consisting of 251 residential units, a parking garage, and ground-level commercial. The view on the bottom left is the view essentially from the roundabout at McCaslin, looking to the southeast. The view over there on the right is the view from Gateway Drive in downtown Superior, looking to the southwest. You can see on the bottom left, that's the parking garage that's already been built, and then this is the facade for the commercial that's already been built. This is another overview of what the project looks like, and the right image will just show an aerial of the entirety of the downtown Superior development. So this is what's being built on Block A. So you can see where the parking garage kind of sticks out a little bit, and then the diagonal kind of view that we looked at before from Gateway Drive of the commercial that is going to be along Main Street. We're in the process of updating our comprehensive plan. Last update in 2012, so our planning commission and planning department have been hard at work on a comp plan update. So they hosted numerous engagement events at shapesuperior.com. They posted an online survey, hosted events at Chili Fest, at Plaza Palooza, at the summer markets, hosted speakers on transportation issues, housing issues, diversity and inclusion, economic development issues, and hosted a number of open houses as well. They had 3 meetings on the comp plan, and as did the town council, and we'll be considering the comp plan update in the coming months. One of the exciting things that a lot of people have been, I think, thrilled about is additional broadband in high-speed internet access in Superior. So Intrepid Fiber is putting out a gigabit internet service, fiber to the premises network that they're building in Superior. It is currently under construction. Service is available in central Rock Creek right now. So if you live in that area, you've probably already been contacted, and people have been doing some trench work in your easements where they've been laying the fiber to your house. That fiber service is available kind of in the area surrounding Superior Elementary. They're under construction in the north part of Rock Creek currently, and they're doing engineering and permitting for the south part of Rock Creek. So we should see North Rock Creek completed by the first quarter of 2026, and then they'll turn their attention to South Rock Creek. And they've got planned construction in downtown, in Original Town, and in Sagamore in the future. And that is fiber that's being laid by Intrepid, but you'll actually purchase it from T-Fiber. So T-Mobile Fiber is the actual ISP that's going to be offering the service. Our planning department's been hard at work mapping all areas of town using GIS mapping technology. So this is just another way for us to have additional information that's available for the public so they can figure out what do we have, where, what's available. So one of those things that you might not necessarily notice until you're using our maps and finding out that we've got these beautiful amenity maps and wildfire mitigation story maps and parks, trails, and open space maps. So special thanks to our planning department for rolling out that mapping. In 2026, we'll see Kite Route Crossing break ground. Guardian Storage will break ground on their expansion as well. We're going to be updating our landscape code, our building and energy code. This will be exciting. We'll be completing all the single-family homes in downtown Superior. So all the single-family homes that have been under construction for a decade will be completed in downtown Superior. We'll be updating the comp plan, and then we'll be seeing an FDP amendment for the Block 7, which is the food hall that is expected to be built right next to the civic space along the plaza in Main Street. All right, turning to our communications team. So we redesigned superiorcolorado.gov. So our website got a brand new redesign. We have had over 200,000 visits to the website this year alone. And this is a great destination for you to sign up for emails and text alerts from the town. You can select a variety of topics, including public works and utilities, town events, volunteer information, and you can get emails and text alerts updating you on all of those things. We have several newsletters as well, the Superior Sentinel, our Parks and Rec newsletter, our Weekly Happenings newsletter, Sustainability newsletter, the Superior Community Center Weekly Update, as well as the Historical Commission Corner, Superior Seniors Monthly newsletter, as well as various messages that we send out. We sent almost 600 messages out from the town just this past year. But we're not entirely electronic. We are sending out paper mailings as well. Our magazine, Hello Superior, is our quarterly magazine. It gets delivered to every household in Superior. Nearly 6,000 households have received Hello Superior. Some of you in this room are on the cover of Hello Superior magazine. Yeah. There's Jen Willard. A great asset. We had a lot of people that just said, look, I don't like technology. I don't like emails. I just delete. I get too many emails. They want to get something in the mail. They want to actually have something that they can leave on their kitchen counter, open up the calendar of events, put it on their fridge, see what's going on in town. And Hello Superior is a fantastic resource to communicate in a different way. We're active on social media as well. We've got Facebook accounts at Superior Colorado. The Superior Community Center has its own Facebook account at Superior Community Center. We have an Instagram account at Town of Superior, an X account, formerly Twitter, at Town of Superior. If you don't like X, we've got a Blue Sky account at superiorcolorado.gov. And then we've got a YouTube channel as well where we're streaming all of our meetings and we're streaming this event as well. Town of Superior, Colorado at YouTube. Our Click and Fix continues to be a valuable resource. If you're not familiar with it, this is a way to report non-emergency issues. So if there's graffiti, a pothole, icy damaged sidewalks, missing street signs, abandoned vehicles, any sort of code compliance issue, you want to report it to us, you can go online to superiorcolorado.gov/clickandfix. There's also an app in the App Store that you can download on your phone and report all the issues that you see just kind of on a day-to-day basis in a very easy way. And we'll have somebody from town follow up with it. So one of the things that we have done this year, also with our communications team, is to try to educate the community about important events and issues in our community. So one of the issues that has been front and center is the proliferation of e-bike and e-motorcycles throughout our community, specifically the ones that are being ridden by kids all throughout town. So there's an ordinance that we passed related to e-bikes, and then there are state laws related to bikes that are not technically e-bikes, but are actually e-motorcycles. So we sent out communication on this issue. E-bikes must have operable pedals, a motor no greater than 750 watts, and can't go faster than 28 miles per hour, whereas e-motorcycles can go faster than that, don't need to have operable pedals. And the point is that to be able to ride these e-motorcycles that we're seeing these kids ride, you need to be 16 years old at least, hold the driver's license, have registration plates and insurance. We're not seeing many of these kids meet those requirements. So we're trying to make sure that parents understand what it is that they're buying for their children. We've had a number of accidents, unfortunately, where kids have been getting seriously hurt, and we want to see that stop. So Boulder County is partnering, Boulder County Sheriff's Office is partnering with us to increase communication about this, make sure that people are educated about what the laws are, what the rules are with respect to e-bikes and e-motorcycles, and to make sure that enforcement gets stepped up. They're also working with our schools to make sure that they're using their channels to educate their community as well. So, 2026. What do we have to look forward to in 2026? Well, our priorities are going to be largely the same. We're going to be spending some time on infrastructure, the RMMA litigation, our economic development efforts, as well as continuing with the Marshall Fire recovery. On our infrastructure, we're going to reconstruct Indiana from 88th to Indiana 88th with a roundabout at Coal Creek Drive, and then Honey Creek to Colton. We'll be reconstructing Indiana Street from North Torreys to McCaslin, and then reconstructing North Pool and the South Pool. The plan is to construct them both, but we still need to finalize the design on the South Pool. We're continuing our efforts to advocate for our residents with respect to Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport, including our pending litigation. On the economic development side of things, we're going to continue to see the construction of the Alta Flatirons project, which will be a project that'll continue. It's going really quickly, but it's going to continue through the balance of 2026. We'll see Kite Route Crossing break ground and deliver the first affordable housing for seniors in Superior. We hope to see Bigsby's Folly break ground, as well as additional businesses open on Main Street. We're hoping for blocks 2 and 5 to break ground. So there's the last parcels in downtown Superior that have not yet been developed. They're approved for basically a medical office, life sciences campus over there. So looking forward to seeing that break ground. And then we want to continue supporting our residents that were impacted by the Marshall Fire and get to 100% of our recovery. If you are looking to contact us, Town Council at superiorcolorado.gov goes to each and every one of the town council members. You can call us, and then we've got superiorcolorado.gov, superiorcommunitycenter.com, superior-business.org if you're interested in business issues in town, and then Shape Superior is our survey service that we use. I do want to acknowledge our town manager, Matt Magley, who's been our town manager now for 15 years. He's an incredible town manager and leads an incredible town staff as well. I want to thank them for all the work that they do. I wouldn't be able to do this presentation without their hard work, so thank you to our amazing town staff, like Kevin Colon, who's here, who helped me put together this presentation, and the rest of our town staff is absolutely incredible. They're one of the central reasons why this is such an incredible community to live in, to raise a family, to do business in. It's just a wonderful place to live, and that's largely attributable to the fact that we have such a wonderful town staff. I want to thank all of the Superior residents who gave me the opportunity to serve as an elected official now for 9 years. My kids have only known me really as an elected official. They were 4 years old when I first ran for office, and they're 13 now. And I also want to just thank my amazing family, my wife Chris, my boys Dylan and Jackson. Being an elected official is a team effort. I wouldn't be able to do this without their love and support. And just thank you all for being here tonight. And now I'll happy to take any questions.
You can just raise your hand and I'll come to you.
Hey, Mark, I just wanted to add that there should be 2 more businesses opening on Main Street, one within a week or so, and that's next door to me. It's going to be the florist. And then I just found out that next month we should have an art gallery opening across the street.
Excellent.
So 2 more.
That's great. Great to see. Appreciate that. And if you haven't been to Ken's business, so Ken runs Ken Shui Interior Design. He has a wonderful spot right here on Main Street. Go check it out. Wonderful interior design services. Any questions?
Thanks. I first want to say thank you. That was a nice presentation. And I wonder if there are any visual plans for what's going to happen at Coyote Ridge? Is there any, I mean, I'm wondering what's going in, what's like, trails?
Yeah, so there'll be trail improvements. There's a parking lot that's going to be built basically where CDOT has like their kind of roughed in parking lot already. Some trailhead improvements, but there's not going to be, we're preserving the open space, the nature aspect of it. So it shouldn't be too different in terms of how it appears currently, just accessible to residents that want to hike and enjoy the open space. But we have a master plan and a plan for it. It's on the town's website, so you can kind of look through what specifically is being planned and what will be constructed over the coming months.
Hi, you mentioned blocks 2 and 5, where the life sciences buildings will go.
Yes.
Are you saying there will be groundbreaking?
We're hoping for. So all the approvals that need to happen from the town's perspective have happened. So now we're waiting on the developer to get to the point where they have financing secured, a contractor lined up for them to start building what they've been approved to build. There are certain things with developments that are outside the control of government, interest rates, economic conditions. So those are all challenges, but they're still excited to move forward and be a part of Superior and downtown Superior.
Thanks, Kevin. Hey, Mark, thanks a lot. Could you explain what a hawk crossing is?
Yes.
Because I know there was talk of an underground crossing there, but that was too expensive.
That's right. So a hawk crossing is a pedestrian triggered crossing, kind of like we have those rapid flashing beacons, but what it does is instead of flashing yellow, it turns to a red light. So it requires drivers to come to a full stop. So if you've driven on the frontage road that runs in Broomfield on, what is it, Industrial Lane, I think it's called, along that's parallel to 36, there's a hawk crossing over there by the bridge that goes over the railroad tracks. And so there, you press it and it comes to a red light, requires drivers to come to a complete stop. And that'll give pedestrians who are currently crossing over McCaslin to get to the Ormond Roche trailhead and to our open space already without the benefit of any crossing. Very dangerous, not legal, but they're doing it. So we want to make sure that there's some sort of safe way for pedestrians to do so without getting hit by a car.
Thank you.
Good question. I didn't know what a hawk crossing was either until we started looking at them. You don't see them everywhere, but there's one on, I think, South Boulder Road as well.
Hi, a quick question about restaurants in Superior, or better, the lack thereof. The word on the street is that Carmel, developer and owner of downtown, Main Street, etc., makes it extremely difficult for restaurants to open up because their conditions financially they're putting out there are way off market, even more expensive than Pearl Street in Boulder. And so I wonder whether the town has any influence on that.
Well, I'll take issue with your first statement about restaurants in Superior. We've got a lot of restaurants here in Superior, fantastic ones. Sake, we've got tequila and mezcal, Asian cuisine, PJ's, we've got Pat's Tap, we've got Boss Lady, we've got Panera, we've got the Sports Stable Bar and Grill, Bambi Brewing. Let's see if I can name them all. What am I missing? Panda Express. We've got Crumble Cookie. We've got a lot of sweets here. Crack Boba. We've got Boulder Baked, which is also serving food and not just sweets. Menchie's frozen yogurt. It's healthy. It's also, you can eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have. What am I forgetting? Casa Agave, I said tequila mezcal, Firehouse. Wayne's, how can we forget Wayne's? Santiago's, go there every Wednesday morning. Yeah, so we've got a lot of restaurants. I encourage you to frequent those restaurants early and often. Here in downtown Superior, we've got plans for BB.Q Chicken. We offered an incentive for them to locate. They would locate right at the corner of Main Street, right across the street from the civic space here and Promenade. The food hall has plans to go in, and there will be probably 5 or 6 different restaurants within the food hall, as well as a standalone wood-fired pizzeria. And then Big Sue's Folly is still planning to move forward with their winery and restaurant on Superior Commons. So there's work that is being done, and obviously we're eagerly anticipating those businesses to open up, and can't wait for them to open up, but they're coming. In terms of Carmel's, any of their, I've heard kind of anecdotally about restrictions on Carmel's usage, but I haven't heard that has actually been an impediment necessarily to any restaurants locating here. I think that's just a rumor right now. So I haven't heard of a restaurant that was looking to open up and found out that the landlord wasn't going to be cooperative with them in terms of the hours of their operation, so it wouldn't work.
With the rework of the Rock Creek Parkway, what's the plan for the right turn lanes and the pylons, closing those? Are we going to get rid of that part of the road, or?
All of the temporary pylons that are, whatever the bollards, there you go. They're temporary, but they're designating where the curb is going to be expanded so that the roadway is going to get narrowed. And we're still preserving, so we went through this kind of design discussion about 2 years ago about potentially moving Rock Creek Parkway down to 1 lane in each direction versus 2. The community kind of said we really want to have 2 lanes in each direction so that it preserve the 4 lanes. But the problem that we had with just the original design of Rock Creek Parkway was just the width of the crossing is really dangerous for pedestrians. So talking to the traffic engineers, they made recommendations as to how we can make pedestrian-friendly improvements and still preserve the 4 lanes. So we didn't, we kind of had our cake and eat it too with the current configuration. So basically where you have the temporary bollards there, the curb's going to get extended to that. So what you're seeing at where we already reconstructed Rock Creek Parkway, so we removed the turn lane over by Pitkin, kind of by Purple Park. That's going to be similar, and you don't even notice it anymore, right? Because like now that the turn lane has been removed and the curb has been expanded, it seems like the road was always designed that way. And you know, if you were starting from scratch and building Rock Creek Parkway, we would never build it as wide as it was built back in the 90s, but we're playing the hand that we were dealt.
Where is the senior living community going in?
So that will be on Old Railway. So it'll be kind of right up against where the ridge line from Discovery Office Park turns into downtown Superior. So there'll be a block there where it'll be a 2-story building for the seniors there.
Do you know how many units?
I don't remember. I don't know. Do you remember, Stephanie? It's not huge. 48? 48. There you go.
Good start.
So, yeah. In back?
I actually have two. One question is, are they supposed to ride e-bikes on the actual trails, you know, that you walk in?
So technically, it depends on what the bike is. So you can ride a class 1 and 2 e-bike anywhere a regular bike can go. Class 3 bikes, which are the bikes that can go above 20 miles an hour and can't be ridden by anybody under 16, but doesn't require a driver's license, those can't go on sidewalks or trails. And the e-motorcycles can't go on sidewalks or trails either. So if you have something that actually looks like a real bike, you can probably ride it on your sidewalks and your trails. If you have something that looks more like a low-powered scooter or e-motorcycle, those need to be on the road.
And then my other question is, what's the building right in front of I guess the hotel that you're building right down the street? There's another little building, looks like, right in front of that. What is that going to be?
Are you talking about the Alta Flatirons that's under construction at McCaslin and Main Street? Yeah, so currently there's 2 structures. They will all be a single structure. They're just building it in 2 pieces, and then they're going to join them. But there's a commercial. So what they're building along Main Street right now are the storefronts for the commercial tenants, and then they have built a parking garage, and then they're going to build the residential structure surrounding that.
Speaking of e-bikes, I think you mentioned there's going to be a bicycle loan program with e-bikes.
Yeah, so we did get funding for an e-bike share program. It's kind of preliminary. It's coming, but I don't have too much information to share about it right now. But we got a grant for it, and now it's something that's in conjunction with Boulder County and neighboring communities as well. Yes.
With the Alta Flatirons community, how many stories will that be?
It'll be 4 stories in the south section of the built project, so kind of up against the ridgeline in Discovery Office Park, and then 5 stories in the front. So that building is limited to 65 feet under the PD, which was approved back in 2013. So a lot of people have come forward to us and they think that the building is too tall, but that decision was not a decision that our town council made. It was a decision that was made a decade ago, decade plus, that set what the zoning and height restrictions are for it. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you all for joining me here tonight. Thank you for taking an interest in your community.